Channel message.
Be careful with people who keep trying to remember you as the version of yourself that was hurting. There are people who will meet you during heartbreak, loss, betrayal, confusion, public embarrassment even, financial struggle, grief, or just a season where life had you looking nothing like your strength. Instead of understanding that moment as a chapter, they treat it like a diagnosis. They decide that what happened to you is who you are now. That is disrespectful. And that is where disrespect hides, because they may not always say it directly. They may not call you weak, broken, unstable, desperate, damaged, or pitiful out loud, right? They will just keep approaching you with that energy. They will talk to you like you are still standing in the same emotional weather. They will bring up old situations with a tone that makes it clear that they have not separated your pain from your identity. After a while, right, you realize that they are not remembering the past. They are trying to preserve a version of you that made them feel above you, that made them feel superior, right? That is the benefit for them. Your lowest season gave certain people a position. It gave them something to reference, something to judge, something to pity, something to feel smarter than, stronger than. It gave them a version of you they could understand without having to respect, right? So when you heal, mature, rebuild, detach, move on, or just become harder to access, that position starts disappearing. So they keep reaching backwards. They keep trying to make an old heartbreak current. They keep acting like one betrayal still owns your personality. They keep treating a hard chapter like it reduced your value, right? They keep bringing the worst season into the present because your present version does not give them the same advantage. That is an attempt to keep you socially, emotionally, or spiritually beneath the moment you survive. Some people want you to keep wearing the emotional outfit they first saw you in, they first met you in, right? If they met you crying, they want to keep speaking and treating you like you're a crier. If they met you abandoned, they want to keep treating you like someone who should be grateful for any attention. If they met you betrayed, they want to keep you acting like betrayal is the center of your personality. If you were struggling, they want to keep measuring your life by the season where you had less support, less clarity, less money, less confidence, or less control. That is how victimhood gets forced onto people. You understand? Not always through obvious cruelty. Sometimes it happens through tone, through jokes, reminders, through remember when, through pity disguised as familiarity, through old stories that keep getting retold even after you have outgrown them, through acting like your progress is cute, temporary, surprising, or suspicious, right? They do not want to meet the current version with fresh respect. They want historical permission to keep handling you like the version of you was easier to underestimate. That says something about them, right? It says they do not know how to honor growth. It says they confuse hardship with inferiority. It says they need old information to stay powerful in a present conversation. It says they benefit from seeing you hurt, even if the benefit was only emotional superiority. It says your healing threatens the little ranking they created in their mind. A healed person does not need your pain to remain visible in order to feel secure. A respectful person does not treat your survival like a stain. Someone with integrity can know what happened to you without using it as a way to lure how to speak to you, think of you, introduce you, handle you, or measure your future. The issue is not that people remember. Memory is not the problem, right? The problem is when someone turns memory into a leash. You understand? There's a difference between someone saying, I know what you went through and I respect how far you've came, and someone quietly treating you like the worst thing you survived still gets to sit at the head of your life. One honors your movement. The other tries to make your past the manager of your present. You have to be honest about that, right? Because some people would never respect the version of you they no longer need them to feel sorry for. They do not know where to stand when you are no longer available for pity. They do not know how to speak when your wound is no longer open for discussion, right? They do not know how to relate to you without making your old pain the center of the room. Let that be enough information for you. You do not need to keep proving that you've moved on. You do not need to argue your evolution, right? And people who are committed to treating you like the old wound are committed to you not evolving. You do not need to keep explaining that the person who broke your heart 20 years ago, the situation that embarrassed you, the betrayal that humbled you, the loss that shook you, or the season that nearly took you out, does not still have authority over you. Hello? What happened was real. Yeah. It was not the rest of your life. Do you understand? Nobody gets to turn your survival into a social class. Nobody gets to treat you like less of a person because they saw you in a season where you were fighting to stay whole, fighting for your life. Sometimes literally. Nobody gets to use your pain as a reason to speak down to you, handle you carelessly, dismiss your growth, or keep you trapped in a storyline you already left. At some point, your responsibility is not to correct their perception. Your responsibility is to stop giving access to people who are invested in the wrong version of you. Let them keep the memory. Let them keep the outdated story. Let them keep whatever version makes them feel superior, informed, important, or accurate. And you keep moving. You are not required to live inside the emotional timestamp where they last understood you.
End of message.